Okay, so I want to talk to you about this technique that I use whenever I sometimes feel overwhelmed with emotions. If you're an empath, super empath, whatever you may be, if you get emotions from other people or your own, depending on if you're, having to heal from intense trauma, then this is a great tool to use to be able to help pull you out of that loop a little bit and ground you into reality a little bit more. Now, a little bit of a backstory. I have um, recently, like in the past, I have struggled with intense childhood trauma. And a year ago, while I was doing my healing, I was knocked into a mental breakdown where I had intense trauma that um, resurfaced, and I had a lot of repressed memories that came up and knocked me into a trauma loop. And therefore, from that trauma loop, I was stuck in, survival mode and fight, flight, freeze, fawn, all of it mixed together. It was like a hodgepodge of everything. And I was consistently triggered with everything. And so to be able to handle all of those emotions while I was triggered over anything and everything, um, it was something that I had to use this tool with a couple of other techniques that I will talk about at on another video to be able to get me out of this, in my head and overwhelm of feelings as well. So I I use this still to this day. Actually, to be honest with you, I still I used it yesterday, to be honest, as well, because sometimes I can feel a little bit overwhelmed with different things, and it's a great tool to be able to pull yourself together and to really just ground yourself in the present moment and let go and detach from any feelings. So, um, the tool that I'm going to tell you about is, I don't know the actual name for it, but it is where you point out different items, different things, and you just say the color. Don't associate anything with a feeling. Don't describe it in like depth. For example, yellow house, green grass, brown bear. Just saying those things, just looking around and just describing, like just saying what it is, and doing that for as many things as it takes to get you to where you're more centered. That is a lifesaver. I cannot tell you how many times I have used that to recenter myself and pull myself out of a spiral where I thought I was going to, have a breakdown. Don't associate any kind of description with it in the aspect of raggedy brown bear or beautiful yellow house or ugly green grass. Um, don't associate it with any of that kind of stuff, because that's just giving feeling to it. So, and those are your feelings about those items, how you think and feel about it. So you don't want to associate with anything like that. You just want to give a fact of it, like this is what it is, because that's exactly what it is. And so doing that will completely change how you go into like these areas, like when you go into, say, a trauma loop and you're being triggered, because you don't know sometimes. This is what Sometimes you don't know that you're being triggered until you're feeling overwhelmed with something. And so something will have set you off that you don't even realize have, like, it set you off. You just feel this overflooding of emotions and feelings, and you don't know where they came from, but you don't have the time right now to really kind of dive into it. So, and you're starting to kind of spiral into, a survival mode, and, kind of way of thinking. Like you're starting to kind of just progressively go backwards. It's in that moment that you like paying attention to how you're feeling, in that like, oh, okay, like my heart's racing, okay, I'm a little bit nervous, or like I feel like I'm hyperventilating because it's like it's really hard to breathe right now. That's even more of like that you're getting ready to have a break. So with that one, you want to be able to stop, and you want to just mentally or physically say these things so that you can, I mean, saying them out loud is a little bit easier, but if you're around a lot of people, just mentally, because I do it mentally mostly, is just is a better way. So with that, when you say these things, it helps you just to pull yourself out of your head and into the present moment, which will then give your body a chance to really kind of recenter, because it I can't tell you exactly how long to do this for because it varies upon each person, and you're going to know best for you. So if you have to do it multiple times in a day, that's okay. If you have to do it for, so long, you can be working and still, do this, which helps kind of keep you from falling apart, per se. I actually had this happen one time whenever I was working back at a restaurant, and I was having a huge trauma meltdown. And when I was having this trauma meltdown, I was really spiraling. I could feel that I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna make it home. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to to make it. Like I seriously felt like it was not gonna happen. And so when I was spiraling and I could feel like I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna make it. I don't know if I would look at random stuff, and I was saying it in my head. I would look at just like seats, or I would look at people's a hat, or I would look at people's hair, or this was back when I was riding the bus at the time. So I was riding the bus and walking. So I got on the bus from work, and I was on my way home, and I was starting to crash. And so I had to keep saying that. And then I also, in that moment as well, just a little added on, is I was listening to my music. And so music is one of the things that really centers me and grounds me. And it doesn't matter what the song is. If it's on my playlist, I love it. And so therefore, it's a song that will ground me in the moment. So like I was listening to music as well as seeing these things. So I was using those two things as a way to be able to keep myself grounded in that present moment, so that I wasn't thinking about the past, because the past is what's coming up and what is like starting to play out in your head and causing you to have that breakdown, because you're being flooded with old memories. So, and for those with anxiety, if you're overthinking and worried about the future, that's also something that it helps with, so that you pull yourself out of constantly overthinking about the future. Just point out different things. Just say them out loud, like I said, or, say them in your head. So yeah, doing those things using this tool will definitely help with any kind of emotion that may be overwhelming, and for you to really just pull yourself together. This is one of those tools that I hope that it really helps anybody out there, because it has been a lifesaver for me, and I just want to share the knowledge that I have in how I was able to get to where I am now, and the tools that I'm using to get to where I'm going in the future. So I want to share the wealth. Whatever tools I can share are out there. So I love you all, and good luck on this trip. And know that I'm rooting for you. I love you.